Hey Aries, welcome back for your 2020 January read. Now, for those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium as well as a twin flame coach. I cover astrology and the moon read. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and I regularly come to you live. During those sessions, you can ask questions. Now, I've pulled the read, and I'm also going to link an astrology into your reading so that you're moderately prepared for the astrology, the placements that are going to come up for you. We're covering everything in this read. So it'll be your finances, your work, the people you're linking in with, the karmic cycle, obviously, because the eclipses do tie in and tie out with the nodes, the karmic cycles, and the unseen as well as your romance house. Now, what you'll find is, regardless of whether you are with an individual, if you are thinking of an individual in general, you energetically are tapping into their frequency. So the energies, generally speaking, can come through. So you can relate it both ways, especially since I do also read for soul path connections. Now, your crowning energy, I have pulled cards that are more for crystals to protect you moving through 2020. Now, the nodes are changing around March, and that's going to be into Gemini and Sagittarius Aries, okay? So for you guys, what you need to understand is it's linked to Mercury, so it's the planet of communication, it's movement, and it's going to be there for 2 years. Now, the North Node is going to be in Sagittarius, so that's very much linking into Jupiter. So you can pick crystals to help actually manage those frequencies. I'd also highly suggest amethyst for your crown chakra, especially with the Neptune energy. You'll find 12th house activation, the Schumann resonance as well. So keeping clear, amethyst can really benefit you in that area. Also, to keep grounded, try and use some chakra crystals. Overall, that's really going to help you the most moving into 2020. So if you can get a bag of chakra crystals, I do have some on the website. Otherwise, wherever you can actually get them, and if you do have them on hand, you can clear them during the moon phases, but have them ready on this occasion, I would say, for the eclipses, because they are falling in the house of Cancer. Now, that can be to do with family-related dynamics. A lot of those energies in 2019 were playing out. So you're sort of going to have two energies going on. You're going to have Cancer and Capricorn nodal energy coming through in the eclipses, tying out, which we had from last month through to now, and then moving through the year we have 6 eclipses. So it is going to be quite a heavy energetic year. It is boding well, especially for your career sector. Now, Capricorn does fall in your 10th house, and I've got to find where I put my paperwork. Where did I put my paperwork? Bear with me. I was doing a reading last night, so where's my phone? I've got my write-up. Oh, there it is. The art of organisation. I'm preparing all of these ahead of time. So your 10th house is your career, your reputation, your fame or lack of, but it's also the house. Let me double check. It really does link in. It's where you potentially have been standing in your way. Now, let me explain. I've got your crowning energies that are additional crystals, but on top of it, your career is burning really well in 2020. If you physically are not working or you're meditating upon something, it can be what you want to work on. It doesn't have to be the actual employment aspect. But with the 10th house placement, Capricorn is going to allow you to take the bull by the horns. It's also going to be a very accountable energy. As long as you are doing all you physically can, you are in alignment and it will bode well. Pluto will show you where it's failing, where potentially you've missed spots where you could take the bull by the horns and really pull that energy in and correct it. So it's quite positive with the retrogrades and the directs. You have that time of reflection and meditation. The astrology in January is very heavy. So external to you, there can be dynamics playing out. So that's why I have suggested that you use the amethyst, the black tourmaline, to keep you as grounded as possible. If you are triggered during January, take your shoes off, use smudge sticks, bath salts, and try and avoid the news if you are energetically feeling triggered. In general terms, it does link back to 2001, very much near where we had 9/11, and that's not to say that those situations are going to play out, but there's the potential of agitation, nervousness, frequencies to those degrees. So if you alone energetically can keep yourself as grounded as possible, it will aid in that situation. Now, your crowning energies, you have 2 crystals on this occasion that's popped out, and that's actually to help balance you and the messages from the universe that are coming through. And anything blue or green I'm seeing as a huge benefit, especially with Mercury energy coming through with the nodes in Gemini. So that's to do with your day-to-day routine. It's your travel, it's your short trips. It's also with the energies of your routine in the day-to-day life, and if it's balancing in with your employment, things you're working on, your family-related dynamics. Now, this is the card you got, and I've got to get used to the camera because it's sort of like, I hear, see, notice, and understand messages from divine. Improve spiritual communication skills. Interpret signs and symbols. Experience connection with angels and spirit guides. Feel serenity and calmness. This is going to help you keep grounded. We can't always avoid obstacles, but by having things very separate to, how would I put it, bothersome, troublesome situations going on, you need to have an outlet, and I feel that's really key. I do feel a lot of people have meditated upon that in December 2019, almost physically making decisions that they're really wanting to choose the frequency and the intent that they're wanting to move into. It's really pausing. I hope it's not lagging. The intent of what they're wanting to move into with 2020. Now, the other gem you have, creativity that flows through me in mirrored ways. I courageously bring my ideas into actuality. Still got to get. I'll let you read the actual. There you go. Activate the creative mind, finalise projects, realise ultimate potential, improved visualisation skills, stimulate the courage to fulfil life purpose and potential. It's interesting because this is where I do really feel in 2020 you guys are really going to soar. Now, obviously these eclipses they will affect the collective, but they're also going to affect Aries, Leo, Libra, what's the other one? Cancer and Capricorn. Now, with that frequency, bear in mind that this too shall pass, okay? But it's really where you've set the intent, you've meditated upon the past, you're meditating upon what you want to move into with the future. Now, in your money financial sector, it's really looking at the truth of the situation and what you're wanting to do with things. It can't just be, your employment could be fantastic, but if energetically you're finding it doesn't feel it's in alignment with you, I do feel this is an opportunity to really look at it and move forward. I do feel some of you actually do end up stepping up in a tier in employment. I also feel with the things that you're wanting to use your money on, you're really seeing, and this will be more so with Uranus and Taurus, it's looking at things and seeing the benefit, but also looking at things and asking yourself whether they are making you spiritually happy. There could be, for some of you that are working in a group, there could be a lot of ego at the moment, and in the month of January, it can be quite an awkward time. Again, I'm hearing this too shall pass. If it hasn't been something that has been an ongoing thing, what I'm being shown is as long as you stay grounded, just being mindful of the astrology, the eclipses, and how tribe mentality at the moment can be particularly triggered. Also with feminine energies, it can be super triggered. These are time frames in which we are cycling out an old karmic cycle. I'm also seeing with your employment, it could be that you're actually being offered a new contract. You've got the Lovers card, but placed in the work domain, it's coming through as, how do I put it? This could be a binding and working with somebody who you feel like-minded with. It's also denoting that you're wanting to directly work with a tribe that feels more in alignment with you. Some of you will actually meet a romantic partner through work, or the thing that you're focusing on could be a choice between two worlds, between really focusing on your career and soaring, or directly feeling as though romance at this point in time really needs addressing. So it can be this push-pull energy that you are directly dealing with, and it's a very temporary energy, but it is nevertheless something that's coming through. With the people around you, yeah, look, I feel you guys are really looking at January as a fly on the wall. I'm also seeing a lot of mirroring. And how do I put this? There's this situation playing out where you're looking at people and you're seeing an aspect of yourself inside of them, but you also understand that they physically have to go through certain dynamics as you have. That it's not something you can verbally teach. It's something you need to directly move through to understand and have the light bulb moment. But there are a lot of people, especially in your group, your family, and again with the nodes being in Cancer and having this eclipse in January, it can be a very intense time where people in your group, they don't have to be DNA family, but people in tribe mentality, in partnerships, in relationships, it can be a very trigger-orientated time, but this too shall pass. Now, with love, overall, there is a cycle that's ending. Now, when I did pull the cards, interestingly enough, I read through them, absorbed the energy, pulled a few clarifiers, because I really wanted to build on the story before I came to you to understand the dynamics that were playing out. There is a cycle where you have been moving in your life. Now, for some of you, this may be, and you'll understand when I get to the romance part of the read, where you might have physically been healing, connected to a past tense person. They could be here in the 3D or passed over. This also can be relating to a childhood belief system with relationships and what they look like. So some of you may be saying, bloody computers. Some of you may be saying, but I don't have a relationship in my life. Some of you might be twins, some of you might be soulmates. Regardless, there's a situation with this eclipse factor that potentially could take you back down over old ground. Now, this belief system of what potentially could be coming through could be connected to the solar plexus, which is very much childhood wounds, right? I'm also seeing those of you that have been in a relationship that have not been happy with it, but you've been persevering forward, hoping that the situation would change. I do feel there is a shift in energy with that. This is the world coming through when it comes to love, and a cycle is changing. Some of the situations, again, I do feel it's happening very quickly for you. It can just be a mindset change, or it could be something on the 3D level. I'll get further into that frequency. I've got 2 more areas to cover, and then we'll get into the romance section. Now, the karmic energies of what's going on is a judgment is going to be made, okay? This is balance. This is really the courage to move forward. This is directly looking at the world and knowing that in this romantic domain, knowing with other things going on, and you've got a lot of love aspects coming through in your read this month, Aries. So it's really being in true alignment with what you feel is your correct path. And I feel somehow you feel spiritually you've got off path somehow. And I do feel a correction in your Napman where you're physically making a choice to change your mindset, change the direction in which you're going. And it's not poorly timed. I feel it's really something innately that is going to be screaming inside you if this directly relates to you. And it is this thing where you're looking at it and you're going, okay, I really need to make peace with myself. I really need to just be authentic and be doing just what I feel is right. I feel initially at one point you may have been thinking about how other individuals feel about the situation, and almost like you were feeling, what's the word? Second guessing yourself to a degree, but you keep resolving back to the same reality. So I do feel you've made peace with that situation. Now, bear with me. Yeah, you know you have to change this, because if you want some of these hopes that have been lingering in your mind to actually occur, you feel you need to move forward. And again, the karmic energy that is coming through is you've given it too much time, in your opinion, and you're physically feeling like, oh, time's up, you know, this is going overboard now. This can also be a situation where you may have been going through a cycle. It might have been where, and this is a month where with the trigger points, it can be that where eating a bit too much, drinking a bit too much, chain smoking, etc. And it's through an emotional pain body experience, and I do feel it's to do with your solar plexus, okay? And the solar plexus are linking in with the power you feel in order to make a decision. And I'm also seeing a lot of base chakra where you're looking at the foundation, needing to get grounded to have that resolved and to take a leap forward. Now, what you're not seeing, and this is where it really starts to get interesting, and this is where I started actually pulling clarifiers. I was like, okay, I'm seeing where this is going. The unseen is this huge temptation. And initially I was looking at this as two things, and then it clarified for me. There are two energies here. There are two paths, two of which you've directly walked, but one of which you stepped off and one of which you're wishing to step back onto. You're really tempted, okay? You might be very critical towards yourself that you moved in a particular way, but it was due to healing. You've got the devil energy. And you've got fire, let go. Now, let go of emotional upheaval and embrace the renewal of the present. I feel this is closure, and I feel this is almost looking back to a situation and feeling as though you went down a wrong road. And now that you're looking at it, you're feeling almost so very excited in a revelation sense, but also allowing the past to go, and that's very Saturn Pluto energy. You've evolved beyond that point now. You may have been in a cycle where you were really healing. It may have caused aspects of toxicity either within yourself or with people that were around you at a point. But now it feels spiritually you're moving forward. You are shifting direction. Some of you, I'm also seeing a change of residence. And it does feel quite quickly. It's like needing to move, wanting to move, wanting to end those cycles and rid yourself of old situations. Now, moving into your romance, this is where it does get interesting. These cards I used last night, and it flowed beautifully, and I'm like, no, this is missed from source. This is how I'm using it. Now, this card, whenever it comes through, it does remind me almost of something of which you loved, which is gone, laying it to rest. And again, with the energy of fire, burning it away, making peace, it's a bit like when you've dealt with a very toxic situation, devil energy. You write it down, you burn it, you release it, okay? This is a release. You've got flowers. Be generous. Success and emotional fulfillment are yours. Now, I pulled a clarifier. The pink is to do with the fact in the past you had a perspective and a perception on love. There might have been a flower connotation to this person. They may have bought you flowers. You might have bought them flowers. But there is a link to this romantic interest with flowers. But it's two energies, okay? Now, as I mentioned further up in the read, some of you, this will directly relate to a past tense love. A, they may have passed over. B, it may be a path you chose to go down to move away from another and to move towards the one potentially some of you are with, not all of you. because the energies, remember, we have thousands of Aries. This is collective energy coming through. Now, when you get the Ten of Swords, this is very Plutonian energy. It's decayed, and it's this cycle has been really doing your head in, right? It's energetically becoming exhausted. It's what's crowning you. It's thinking about it, dealing with it, trying to cut through, to gain the reality of it. Your next card is linking in with December, right? You've been thinking about this potentially from last month. You also want to move forward and to be able to celebrate with someone you feel in correct vibration with. This could be causing a lot of conflict. This is either in your mind's eye or directly with an individual or the memory of it. Then we move into the heart of the matter. Now, this card, whenever it comes through to me, it can be a very spiritual connection. You've got the Lovers. There are two paths ahead. Be true to yourself. Now, the two paths, I feel it's the meditation of the awareness that was so. You also need to follow your intuition connected to it, okay? So you've got the Lovers and you've got the Psychic card. But this is also with your crown chakra, knowing the truth, listening to yourself and knowing what you need to do, Aries. The reason I feel this energy is because we then get to the future tense position and you have coffin, okay? And it's a metaphor. It's sort of like the death card. Natural endings around. Take care with your health. It's knowing whether this situation, and you've got irises, okay? I've got to get used to the ankle, okay? You've got irises. Your clarification card is the Two of Cups. I do feel for you guys, this is either a turning over of a new leaf within a connection, but for some of you, you may have ended up in a karmic-related dynamic, either in a memory sense or with a physical person. Now, this revelation and epiphany, when I was tuning into it, I was tuning into an energy where you were seeing yourself inside this individual, A, as a memory, or B, as a physical person, and seeing the mirror of yourself. Now, this is not a positive mirror. This is your opinion, though, okay, if this directly relates to you. But it's having the direct, like being on the other side of the fence. Now, when we look at your partner energy is two energies. This is either A, the person has physically transformed, or it's with someone that you're with right now and with the person that you want to be with. A very unique read. Haven't experienced this before. I'll explain how it goes. You've got the Lion, okay, which is strength, which is a Leo energy. This could physically be a Leo, but again, it feels more the strength and looking at the situation. Now, if you're dealing with, and this can be a third-party energy, but it's not feeling like it in the sense that you actually are doing anything wrong. You're with somebody, you're thinking of another, or you're healing over an old situation. The person doesn't even need to be in the 3D anymore, and you're trying to, bring yourself in, anchor yourself down to physically correct it. So you're going to need to, unless you get a private reading, I can psychically tune into you, you will need to connect the dots of where it directly fits. There is a transfer of energy. For those of you that are dealing with a situation where you're tuning to someone else, you've had your light bulb moment and you're like, what the devil am I doing? These individuals are none the wiser. They're thinking, life's proceeding forward. Okay? Life's proceeding forward. And I'll take it from the love interest you're tuning into, Aries. They're thinking, I ain't no heard from you. I'm trying to be strong here. What a meditation. Feeling like it was, unlucky, really wishing that they had been with you. Feeling a bit let down. Reflecting on the connection with you, they wanted this to the moon and back. But there was a lot of discord around. It could either be in the way you guys were communicating or the way it was travelling. they're still very deeply in love with you. At the heart of it, they're following their intuition. They've got the owl. They may be very spiritually connected to you because I do feel they see signs and synchronicities. They may be hearing your name. They may be seeing signs. They might be hearing a song. There are spiritual messages and great wisdom to be found during the periods of transition. And this transition, I feel, is directly linking to the eclipses in January. And remember, in 2020, we have 6, so it's going to be a very interesting year. So they've got owl, right? The clarifier is accepting it, seeing signs, being confused, but at the same time thinking something's not matching, something's not meshing, which does make sense because you're in a transitional state, Aries. So their intuition is telling them potentially some changes going on with you. And this is for both individuals, both for you and for these people, either in the 3D or the 5D. You'll understand what I mean. Now the outcome card, they're having faith in you. They're also having faith in themselves. They're trying to pull themselves out of slump. This too shall pass, I hear. They also do believe you're a very strong person. They believe they're a strong person. They'll do the very best they can. They're looking at you in a positive light. Now I inquired this other energy for those of you who you're tuning into. How you both see each other, and this was like an epiphany moment coming through in spiritual terms. It feels as though you have a light bulb eureka moment. This is looking at value, and it's interesting that finance has come up for you. Now, with your value, you're now seeing the reasons why this person reacted the way they did. You're seeing situations for what they really are. You're also looking at it and feeling that both energies are very stubborn. Now, when it does come to the person you're deeply wanting to be with, you're slightly amused by their reaction. This can be their stance, it can be their stubbornness, it can be a lack of contact, it can be the way they dig their heels in. But you understand at the same time. Now, your crowning energy in your given situation where you stand is, again, you've got the death card as your crowning energy. It's not a physical death, okay? Don't get me wrong. There's a transformation going on inside your life. A time of natural transition. Now, this term keeps coming through for you guys. And transformation. And I did say to you, use purple. Okay? Now mine, I need a new one. It is purple. You can't see it as purple, but yes, it's purple. The outcome energy for your path you choose to move forward on is the star. Now, if this is boding well, hard times are over. Look forward to an abundance of happiness, enthusiasm, and positive things. I truly do believe you're making a choice. You're drawing a line in the sand. You may feel slightly like you got off path, but I do feel this person is going to be none the wiser. I do feel they'll be very happy with communication and contact. At the same time, I feel you're making a direct decision, those of you who this part of the read is relevant, of either coming into alignment and feeling more balanced to have more time with this connection. But I do feel for those of you who have felt like you're not in a matched relationship, I do feel you guys are really ready to have this conversation and move forward. I will see you during the month. If you are wanting a booking, the link is below. I'll see you during the month.